What's a menage a trois you don't want to participate in?
How are these dad jokes?
It's my dad. What's a menage a trois you don't want to participate in? Three-way craps. That's a thing. I looked it up. I looked at gambling terms, casino. You don't want to be involved in three-way craps.
Let's say hello to Dan Orlovsky, ESPN NFL analyst, part of NFL Live, and, of course, former quarterback. NFL Live is in Vegas. It's Dan, Marcus Spears, it's Ryan Clark, Mina Kimes, Laura Rutledge, and they'll be in action at 4 Eastern on ESPN.
Orlovsky.
Dan,
like, what the hell am I doing?
Dan is calling the Super Bowl along with Lewis Riddick and Chris Fowler for ESPN's audience in Australia and New Zealand. Say hello to Dan Orlovsky of the Mothership here. Yeah, you got to follow that, Dan. Good luck.
Oh.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
You just gave me a look.
Yeah.
I
Not pleased
don't
with
know
me.
what's better, that I get to follow those dad jokes, or I'm thankful that you didn't put me after Deion Sanders and Joe Montana. Hey, it's Deion, Joe Montana, and Orlovsky. All right?
But you've had to fight for credibility, right? When you don't have name recognition that some of these other guys. But
Sure.
If you were giving advice to a player who maybe didn't have that All-Pro status or Hall of Fame status of how do you get noticed and how do you move up in the ranks here?
I think two things. Number one, you have to figure out a way to do something or bring something that no one else is. You know, that was part of when I got started in 18 was breaking down the tape and making it, you know, I guess digestible for the public. No one was really doing that, at least at that time. I know years ago it was Jaws and in many ways. So I think like on a daily basis, I was able to do that. So you have to find something that no one else is capable or at least doing and bring it to the audience to either educate them or entertain them in some capacity on a consistent basis. I think the second thing is you got to every day show up. You know, there's a consistency that people, I think, gravitate towards, that they want almost on a regular basis that they can bank on, like, hey, I'll get something from this person that I'm interested in I don't know if it's daily, but it feels like a daily basis nowadays. I think the third thing, one of the things that someone told me when I got started was you got to say stuff. I never agreed with that, and I still don't.
What does that mean? You got to be critical?
You got to be willing to say stuff, like
or
say something.
hot takes?
Yeah, I the way I look at it is like you have to have the courage to be wrong. Like you gotta be convicted with the things that you're gonna say, and you gotta be okay with being wrong. Because if you're not okay with being wrong, you're never gonna strain to be right. People like when people are right, you know. And so I think like the whole, well, just say anything. Eventually, that becomes a background noise to folks. But when you say things that you're convicted about or that you believe in, and whether it ends up being right or wrong, I think that at least grabs people's attention more on a consistent basis.
What's the one comment or diagnosis, criticism are you still hearing from, when fans come after you? Is there anything that you said that is still hanging there?
Yeah, I mean, I went on a Wentz train for 2 years, like thinking that Carson Wentz was going to be a long time high level player that I was pretty adamant about. So that's one that like people say consistent. I thought Fields this year would play at an MVP type of level. That didn't happen for Justin. So, but as far as like my job, it's probably the Carson stuff.
Yeah, but you're not alone in those things.
No, and I honestly thought like Carson Wentz was going to be a superstar. I thought that he would be kind of what Josh Allen has become in many ways, just like a game.
But if he didn't have that knee injury.
Yeah, if he didn't have the knee injury, there's obviously a lot of conversation about the type of leader he was in Philadelphia once he got the contract, or the locker room personality, or the way that he handled his guys. I don't know, there's a lot of reports in regards to that. But if he didn't have the knee injury, I mean, he was playing at a ridiculous level.
But how does money not change? Certainly these quarterbacks, when you're making $40-50 million a year, and then you got, the guys who are protecting you, they might be making a couple of $1 million a year. How much jealousy goes with that, do you think?
There's as much jealousy as the quarterback allows. I think there's two things in that question. One, quarterbacks are just very different. Most of us, when we start playing the position, one of the things you hear all the time is you gotta get your teammates to do things for you, and that's the whole, when you're in the huddle, look at them in the eye and the way that you call the play, get them to believe that the play is going to happen. And then, after practice, be the person who's there the latest doing the extra work, and, be the person who's out at practice the earliest and getting in extra work. And so, like when your teammates are seeing that they then believe that you don't believe that you're better than them. I always said this, or being around Peyton just for a little bit and then being around Matthew for a while, those guys had this unique ability to be two people at the same time. Like, they unquestionably knew that they were the guy. Like, when they walked in the room changed. You just felt their presence. They knew that they were the face of the franchise, the billion-dollar CEO, all that. And they also, at the same time, wanted you as the teammate to believe, I want to be just like you. I want to be just one of the guys. And they went out of their way all the time, in practice, out of practice, at lunch, at dinner, on road trips, whatever, to just be one of the guys. And so,
well, Brady would go out drinking with the offensive linemen early in his career.
Yeah, I think that's a conscious thing. I do. Like, I think eventually it just becomes part of, your personality and who you are. But I do think it's a conscious thing because, a lot of times in the weight room, perfect example, you have these offensive line that are pushing or pulling just a gajillion pounds, and you're over there doing band work or something. It's like, eventually your teammate's gonna be like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Or like when your teammates are running sprints and, killing themselves, and you're over there like doing, 80%ers on the sideline type of thing. So you have to go out of your way to make sure that you make that conscious effort to be like, no, it takes all of us, and your teammates have to truly, truly believe that. And then with the money thing, it's just how you treat them. It's just, I don't think it's that complicated. If you treat them the right way and you make them very aware of like, no, I know I can't do any of this with you guys.
And buy them good gifts,
Buy
too.
them good gifts. The way that you take care of them, you take them out to dinner on road trips. You handle, their families the proper way. Like there's ways that those guys are, all they want is to go kill themselves in the field for you. That's all those guys are wired like that. I just want, they just want one of those, a leader to just pull them along. And so I think if you're conscious of that, it's not as difficult as we make it seem.
Okay, when you were playing, did you ever get in the huddle, call a play that you truly believed was not going to work?
Dude, I played for the 0-16 Lions, dude. Most of them.
But you have to have this, this authoritative voice. Did you ever go?
All right, I'll give you a couple stories.
17, I on 2, maybe.
I've given you the run out of the end zone story, have I not? With that, the in the moment. So that was at Minnesota. It's I think the second quarter. I want to say it's my second or third drive of my NFL career. Where I'm on the road. There are two defensive tackles. Pat Williams and Kevin Williams are just like monster humans. So it's third and I want to say 10 or 12 from like the 4-yard line. Let's say that. Play call comes in. Immediately I go, no, this play call's not going to work. It was a one-man route, just to Calvin. Everybody else is in protection. So I call timeout, go to the sideline. I'm like, hey, this play's not going to work. I know Minnesota's going to play cover 2. Like, can I just get the ball in my hands? Our passing game coordinator, because we had a run game coordinator, a passing game coordinator, was like, no, we're just going to keep the play on. And I'm like, all right, sweet. Play happens. Jared Allen splits the double team. I run out of the back of the end zone. So that was that moment where I knew it wasn't going to work.
So it's the coaching staff's fault, not yours.
It takes all of us. It takes all of us.
Takes a village.
Yeah.
Takes a village.
That's one.
But that play never stayed with you, though, after it, though. That's what's good about it. Everybody forgot all about it.
I don't get reminded of it consistently. I've had a coach fall asleep on the headset during the game, like in middle of drive, fall asleep. I've had a coach call a play that was no longer like part of our actual offensive acumen. It was one from his old past. He called the play, and I was like, we don't even have that formation or language. You got to be thinking of something else.
Wait, go back to the coach falling asleep.
Fell asleep.
How does that happen?
He was old.
Well, so am I, but I don't fall asleep on the show.
We were probably down 24-0 or something. He was old, and legit, we were in between. So the other team had ball. Change of possession happens. We get out. TV timeout. call first down. First down happens, don't remember exactly what happened on the play. Second down comes, crickets. Nothing. Asleep up in the press box. Damn. NFL.
Yeah. Welcome to the big time there, Danny.
Can I go back to UConn?
The defense you would want to face between these two is
Would or would not?
would.
San Francisco.
You want to face them.
Oh, yeah. I want no part of Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is remarkable. San Francisco's defense isn't the 2019 49ers defense. You know, I think that's been something that has been lost a little bit this week is it's a little bit around the Brock Purdy conversation. Jimmy Garoppolo was good in 19. That defense was spectacular.
Yeah.
And that defense was one that you couldn't run the ball against because the coverage that they played, they had too many humans down near the ball. You couldn't throw against them. Playing against that defense was like, one of the early defense. When I got into the NFL, I remember playing against the Bucks and the Bears. And they played two coverages. They played cover 2 and cover 3. And you knew exactly what they were in. And as a dummy going into it, you're like, I know exactly what you guys are doing. This is going to be easy. And then the ball gets snapped. You're like, my goodness, you guys move so fast. That was San Francisco in 19.
Okay.
You just couldn't do anything. They suffocated you. They're not nearly as dominant up front this year. I don't think that they cover on the back end at the speed that they did. Obviously, Fred and Greenlaw are still playing at a wildly high level, but just they're not connected as they were in 19. I think there's holes in their secondary. I think this is a game that Patrick is like 75% completion. I think he can like death by 1,000 paper cuts them. Kansas City's defense is one that like lines up with the middle finger at you and says, here it comes. We're going to play physical at the line of scrimmage.
That's not the official formation, though.
Yeah. It might be.
Let's go middle finger here.
Yeah. But like they beat you up. All 11 of those guys beat you up. Snead wants to beat you up at the line. They're fast. They're physical. And they make you think. You don't necessarily know what they're going to be in. And if you get to second and obvious passing or third and obvious passing situation against them, good night.
So you like the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are a better football team. I think that I heard Chase kind of referencing this.
But let me say, is San Francisco's offense better than Kansas City's defense?
No.
Okay.
No. San Francisco's offense, if you're going to play, the thing that I've talked about this year with them is they're difficult to play zone against. You don't want to play a ton of zone against San Francisco. You want to man them up. Just because you can man Debo up a little bit here and there if you got a good nickel, and he's smart, tackles well. Ayuk's a really good route runner, but if you're physical with him at the line, that's advantage just because of timing. You got to be able to cover Kittle. I think Reed can do a consistent job against that. So not that he's not going to lose some of them. And one of the things that San Francisco's offense is, like they constantly, check your eyes on defense. Like, hey, we're going to set a formation here, and then we're going to shift, and then we're going to have people going out there, and you're looking at all these different things, and then it's the great illusion. I've called Kyle and Sean McVay that for years. They're the great illusionists. So I think man coverage minimizes that a little bit, and I think that's advantage Kansas City.
The best tight end on Sunday will be?
Kelsey, again, that's part of the matchup.
Okay.
I think Kelsey's got an advantageous matchup in that situation. One of the things that's been interesting, Kansas City's become so game plan specific in the playoffs. Like they just have one very kind of finite thing that they've realized, okay, we're going to do this a ton. Against Miami, it was 3-level throws. Against Buffalo, it was run at Taron Johnson, the Buffalo nickel. Against Baltimore, it was getting 4 strong in a formation. So I think they'll have something for, Kelsey that they feel that they can run a bunch, and that'll be an advantage for them.
He once made one of his coordinators fall asleep while he was playing quarterback. Did you ever think that
you spun that around on me?
I did. That maybe the coordinator's like, this is so boring.
Orlovsky again?
Wake me when it's over. No, is he still in there? Yeah. You can see more of Dan with Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, Mina Kimes, Laura Rutledge today and Friday at 4 Eastern on the Mothership. And you're calling the Super Bowl with Chris Fowler and Lewis Riddick for Australia and New Zealand. And do you have an accent? Do you have an Australian or New Zealand accent?
Yeah, you know what? I tried to do that one time, and I got the matumbo. Like, don't do that, dude, because if you do it wrong and they don't like it,
yeah, they're going to let you know.
Not the type of people you want to make upset.
And don't do any shrimp on the Barbie thing, okay?
Do I come across as somebody who would?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I won't.
Thank you, Dan.
Good
Dan
to see you guys.
Orlovsky, everybody. Take a break. We're back after this. Joe Montana and Dion will join us in the final hour.